Hello, my name is Arethia Brooks, and welcome to my channel here at Essentials to a Journey, where we discuss all things self-care. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. And in today's topic, I would like to talk about shifting from optimization to recovery. And what this is essentially the exhaustion from trying to improve ourselves. And I know myself personally, I have been victim of this, of overexerting myself or extending myself too much in my self-care routine, constantly trying to improve myself. And I think in today's culture, we really do. We think about optimizing so much. I think I've said this a lot of times on my channel about the overwhelm of optimization. And now people are starting to wake up to that this optimization is basically hurting more than it is, helping. So I think there is something to be said around optimizing and recovery and, this whole depletion and exhaustion. So when it comes to, I think, optimizing ourselves and trying to recover from optimization, what this essentially is, it's us and our bodies telling us that we're doing too much. And oftentimes I think this exhaustion from optimizing or feeling like I need to optimize myself, I need to improve myself, I need to make self-improvements. This is coming from, I think, a deep fear or something that's deep rooted around self-belief, and it's within our self-beliefs. It's also something that is stemming from feeling a sense of worthiness, feeling a sense of good enough. And I think somebody that feels good enough, they feel happy with their lives, they're not always trying to improve, they're not always trying to, make up things or exert themselves more or do better. And, we all have probably at some point in our lives been guilty of this, and that's okay. There's no blame here. And I would also just like to say, when it comes to optimizing, I think our media has a lot to do with this. I think we can even see within our culture, our media constantly telling us, do this, buy this, go there, this is going to make your life better, this is going to make you feel better. And when you already feel good within yourself and you have this bombard of energy of, I want to say, people or suggestions or opinions constantly telling you that you need to do this or go here, it's exhausting. And you start to believe that. So there's something to be said about it. So that is where I think it is also coming from. It comes from possibly our own internal beliefs of not believing that we're good enough and worthy enough for exactly what we're looking for, what we're trying to receive. And also the world around us plays a big part in it too. Just over consuming too much information or over consuming suggestions and opinions. So with that being said, I think one of the things that we can start to do when we recognize that we feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and we need a recovery from improving, because improvement itself is supposed to feel like my life is better, or it's supposed to, when you're making improvements, it's not to overexert yourself, it's not to overexert your life, it's not for your life to feel like it's hectic. Improvements is supposed to feel subtle, it's supposed to feel at ease if it's done right, not overwhelmed or like you need a recovery period. So one of the things I think that we can do or stop and start to realize and recognize is to take a beat from media. And what this can look like for someone is basically dialing it back when it comes to consuming other people's suggestions, other people's opinions. So if you find yourself constantly consuming other media, you might want to take an opportunity to just dial back or recognize that you are tuned in to other people's suggestions and opinions. So this is about having awareness of others' suggestions, opinions, recommendations, whatever the case may be. So when you feel like you are needing a recovery period, that's what you want to, I think, would be the best thing that you can do for yourself, is to take a step back and say, okay, I've been on my phone too much, or maybe I've been consumed with the television too much, or maybe I'm just listening to somebody else's opinions about what they're doing that is helping them, and maybe I need to sit back and sit with myself and tune in and say, okay, I know the answers, they will come, I just need to relax. But I think a lot of us don't want to be patient. We don't want to sit around and wait for the answers to be revealed. We're so used to having everything on hand, and we live in a culture where everything is just given to us so quickly now, and everything is starting to speed up. So taking a step back and giving yourself a grace period, having like some peace to say, okay, I have the answers. I just have to be patient enough with myself to receive it. So just take a beat from media. That means scrolling on your phone, whether that means looking at the television, or it means sitting with somebody else's opinions. And another thing too that I'd like to touch on here when it comes to shifting from optimization to recovery because of exhaustion is one thing that you can do, and I think this has helped me in plenty situations, is downsizing your routine. So if you know that you already have so much stuff going on, if you know that you've crammed in all of these opinions, suggestions, and recommendations that you should drink more water over here, or you should eat this type of foods, and this is going to help you with that, and you should try this skincare routine, or this mask, or something's going to help you, and then you should, do something that's going to regulate your nervous system. All of these things, I am not saying are wrong. I think actually a lot of the recommendations can be really good. It's just not doing too much of it, downsizing it. So can you take an opportunity to say, okay, these are all great suggestions. These are all wonderful things that I can do, but do I need to do all of them in one sitting? Do I need to wake up tomorrow and say, let me journal, let me eat this type of food, let me go here, let me do all of these things all in one sitting? We don't have enough time to do that. Maybe we do, but it wouldn't be a good use of our time. Sometimes we need to play, sometimes we need to take a break, sometimes we need to just relax and sit in peace and allow our thoughts and allow that internal state to be clear. And to do that, you have to remove some of the debris. So that means not doing 10 or 11 things for a self-care routine. Maybe you do 3 things for your self-care routine, and then you call it a day and you say, okay, that's good enough. And it's about validating ourselves. Like once we've done the routine, once we've sat down and journaled, once we've had the right diet, once we've exercised or used the right skincare thing, take a break. It's okay. Like everything else is going to be there. And then so if you get bored and you need to spruce up your routine, you can add something else and take something else out. It's like weeding and trimming, what's working, what isn't, but it's never about loading yourself up with too much. Downsizing, I think, is the key. It's helped me in so many situations where I felt like I had to do 1,000 things waking up versus going to bed and feeling so exhausted because I had this wonderful self-care routine, but I was overexerting myself with it. I was doing too much. So take that moment and opportunity to downsize when you start to feel exhausted from self-improvements. And another thing that I would like to look at here when it's in regards to this exhaustion over self-improvement, the way that you can handle this is to allow freedom into your everyday plans. And what this will look like for you is, or can, I know for me personally, is allowing yourself to have mobility within your routine. So if you know that you're going to do 4 or 5 things, can you do 2 of those things, take a break, and then do something else that was going to be last on your list? Can you allow yourself enough space, enough freedom to be able to accomplish the things that you need? What I'm trying to say here is nothing needs to be set in stone. When you get to a point where you're like, this is set in stone, this is how it's going to go, that's when you also become a little exhausted and depleted. So just taking a step back and allowing yourself to say, these are the things that I would like to get done. Maybe I won't get them all done today, or maybe perhaps I'm going to do them in a different order. And that will allow you to feel mobility, freedom, like, okay, my day is going so good. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to get these things done. I know, and I'm just going to shift things so that I feel better. A great example I can give you guys is, for example, for me yesterday, when I had accomplished or gotten my work routine done, I had checked everything off of my list. Usually what I like to do before I start to set the next day, or before I close out my chapter of work, I like to go ahead and define the next couple of high impact tasks that I would like to do and accomplish for the following day. And with knowing that, I will make a list, and it'll be about, I just kind of sum things up. I'll bullet it out, like it'll be 4 or 5 things. I need to get this done and this done and this done. So I have that on my list. And for whatever reason yesterday, I just kept telling myself, you know what? This is a lot of stuff that I'm going to need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and allow myself to go to bed at an earlier time than usual, because I have so much stuff on my list to do and I want to get it all done. I was excited about it. Said, okay, I go to bed. I'm sitting there and I'm like tossing and turning for like an hour or two. Long story short, I ended up not sleeping until 2 a.m. And I don't know, it could have been that I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to sleep. Could have been that I had this perfect routine and I was like, it's going to be so good. I'm going to get it done. And then I guess the universe was like, no, you're not. You're not. This isn't happening. You need to take a beat. You need to allow yourself the grace and the space to not always have to have your stuff together. And I say that in a loving way. And so it was a lesson. I woke up the next day and I said, it was like maybe it was like 11 in the afternoon. And I usually get up really early to like get things on my list, but I was so tired. And I was like, okay, this didn't work the way I wanted it to. And you know what? I'm going to be graceful and kind to myself, because if I've learned anything, it's that things don't always go the way that you anticipate them to. They don't always happen the way that you want them to. So I just said to myself, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to just take this as a learning experience, that I can allow freedom into my day while knowing I'm still going to get the things done that I need to get done. So that's what I did. I got up. I was a little bit slower in my routine. I did what I needed to do for myself to take care of myself, my self-care routine, but I still moved forward with my list. But just giving myself grace to do it in the time allotted to me, doing it within the time frame that is going to be kind and graceful for me. So I just took a step back and said, okay, this is going to be okay. And if I don't get these things done now, I still have another day, hopefully, possibly, to get more of it done. It doesn't all have to be done in one sitting. So that's what I mean by allowing yourself the freedom into your everyday plans, giving yourself the grace and the space to get things done without constricting or restraining yourself too much into some scheduled routine. Things will get done, but can you be graceful and kind towards yourself as you're accomplishing these things? So the next thing that I would like to address in regard to shifting from optimizing to recovery when it comes to feeling exhausted, overworked from trying to improve yourself is something that I learned when I was in college. I had a professor I was taking a marketing class, and my professor was basically teaching us something when it comes to the overall picture of marketing, when it comes to an idea, when it comes to getting things done, when it comes to looking at a package and seeing it as complete and fulfilled. And she taught us this thing that I never forget, and I take it with me as one of the tools in my toolbox, and it's basically the acronym KISS. Some of you may have already heard this, but it's basically keep it simple, stupid. And I live by this and I love it because when I think about it, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, it's funny in my head because I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. You need to just chill out and keep it simple. Anything that's overdone is probably not the right thing, and it's probably you're doing too much. And it's just, you're not getting through with your ideas, you're not able to accomplish something, you're not being effective when it's overcomplicated. So she taught me that. And so I want to bring that into this whole need to feel like you're improving yourself constantly. And when you're feeling exhausted, remember to keep it simple. Don't overexert yourself with things. If you feel like a plan, like I said, if a plan is too much, if you feel like you have this whole list of things that you want to do and you don't have enough time, it's because you're doing too much and you need to dial it back and keep it simple. And that could come to ideas in your life. It's also, again, with social media or media in general, or, other people's opinions. Keep it simple. If they're giving you something, can you simplify that? Can you narrow everything down so that you don't feel exhausted? One of the key things that I like to do for myself in my work experience, or when I'm having just my work days in general, I do like to plan things out, but like I said, I like freedom within my work day. And I like to know that, okay, on this day I'm going to do this, then I'm going to switch it up and move over here, and then I want to get these things done. So by the end of the week, I feel like I've accomplished enough, but I can kind of like minimize the stuff that I'm doing towards the end of the week, so it feels like completion. And I feel like I've reset myself for Monday. So one of the things on Friday that I like to do is I like to do a lot of administration stuff. And to me, this is just downsizing. It means taking a look at everything I've done and all of the wonderful things that I've been able to create or expand on, and looking at stuff that I've had for years and saying, okay, does this serve me now? Is this still needed? Does this still work? And is it effective? And when I can look at those things and put them in a box and know that, okay, I don't need this anymore, it's not relevant, then I start to trim. So Fridays have become more of like my trim days. And I noticed, on a Friday doing that, when I started putting this into effect, when it started happening for me, when I started telling myself this is what I'm going to do, and I started acting on it, I felt so much relief. My space felt more relief. It felt like the environment around me was a lot cleaner. It felt like things were cleared out and cleaned up. And it felt like when I left that work experience, the Friday work experience, when I left, I felt like, you know what, man, Monday's going to be so amazing. The next time I have another work project, or next time I have to do something, it's going to feel so good because I have all of this space now. I have so much space to create. I have so much space to, organize myself or allow something new to be revealed to me, because I've weaved, I've trimmed, I've cleared things out. And it was just such a good experience that I was like, you know what? Every Friday I want to have this feeling. I want to get things done, but I think also getting things done, a part of that routine is just simplifying it. It is just taking a look at everything you have and saying, does this serve me now? Does this work in the environment and in the world that I've created for myself? And if it doesn't, do you have the strength and do you have the courage to release it? And when you do, you'll find something so magical and so wonderful, believe that happens from that trim, from that letting go of things, to allow space for things to be revealed. And, this takes us back to the idea of feeling like, once you have cleared things up, once you simplify your routines, you no longer need to feel as if like your world is exhausted from trying to improve yourself, because you're like, okay, I've created so much space. So that's what I hope. These are the things that I hope you will take with you perhaps in your own self-care toolbox or your self-care routine, or however you like to look at your situation. I hope some of this has given you perspective. Or remember, take a beat from media when you need to. Nobody's blaming you or shaming you. I do it all the time. Downsize your routine. If you feel like it's too many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, let some of that go, trim it, and simplify it. And you will thank yourself later. And allow freedom into your everyday plans, creating the space and the grace to do this. You know, if you feel like you're too restricted and you have 1,000 things going on, and maybe you find boredom in all of it, switch some things up, move some things around, but you can still get it done. And then the final thing is keep it simple, stupid. If it's overcomplicated, it's probably not that effective. So I hope this has helped you in some way. And if it has, and you've enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you know someone that would probably benefit from this information or benefit from this talk, please share this with them as well. And again, thank you for taking the time to be here and listen to me talk about my ideas on it as a coach who, you know, teaches basically self-care, and who is very passionate about self-care. And until next time, I wish you lots of peace, light, and much love.